Hey, welcome to my Virgo channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Laura, and I am going to do a general message for anyone that lands on this. Again, if you're a Virgo, this message is actually intended for you, but this is mainly a Virgo channel. So if by chance you wind up not being a Virgo and landing on it and listening to this message somewhere in the middle of it, let's just say you didn't hear this beginning. Well, I never believe that there are any mistakes. There are never any mistakes. If you were brought to this channel, you were meant to hear a message because, again, you're a magnet of who and what is supposed to come into your life. What, again, everything is signs and symbols. Again, that's how spirit communicates to us. So I always like to start my readings off looking at the spiritual messages. That's why this live stream is titled Timeless Messages from Spirit about your love, your healing, and just your soul's path, because I never know what the message is, again, what the story is going to be. But my readings always have a healing spin to them. I pride myself on being a healer. So, and the reason why is because a lot of times we don't like what we manifest, right? It's again, we unconsciously manifest situations that we don't like, whether they're within our relationships, whether they're within our everyday life. So it's not enough just to tell somebody what could happen from their perception of where they are now. It because again, a person's perception a lot of times is limited due to what they've gone through in life, right? A spiritual block means that a person's blocked in their perception about their situation. And this happens a lot of times in love, right? And the reason why there's a lot of times there's a heart and a mind fight, struggle, right? The mind says, no, this person's not good. We've been down this road before. I don't want to fall in love. I don't want to get that attached to someone. I like my relationship surface, where the heart says, no, I want something real. I know, again, when I can feel that there's a connection, when someone feels familiar to me, again, like all soulmate twin flame relationships. So healing is about seeing your situation from a different perception, as I said. So my readings are going to be not just what's going to happen, but we want to also look at some of the different perceptions due to maybe how you can handle your situation. Because again, we go through karmic situations that tend to repeat themselves. The theme replays, and the theme of victimization, betrayal, all karmic lower emotional energies again play out within our experiences. And part of evolving means that we're evolving into higher levels of consciousness, which means that we have to expand consciousness. So it's not enough just to say what's going to happen, because a lot of times, again, readings are fluid, they change, the information changes. That's why if you check in every day to your favorite reader, a different story unfolds. So you'll be like, wait a minute, yesterday you said Virgo was going to be with someone. Now today it's not working out in my relationship. So why does that happen? It's again because life happens depending on how you handle a situation. So it's again, we can learn to create balance within our situations that it doesn't look like a roller coaster, on, off, up, down, meaning like, that's what it feels like when you're in a toxic relationship, like you're on a roller coaster, always waiting for the high, but then actually looking for it to bottom out. That's what trauma does. So I always start using my, again, Psychic Soul Healing Oracle cards because I like to look at the traumas. The traumas are going to tell us a lot about you. I like to look at the karmic themes, the spiritual lessons. And really, that's what we look at first, the spiritual lessons. And then we'll move on to the triggers and the wounds. And then we'll see how it plays out within your situation. And then see what we need to do in order to heal it. Okay. So the first card out again is self-critical. So Virgo, again, Virgos are known to be self-critical. It's what we do. We tend to judge every part of our process and we want to look perfect. And if it doesn't look perfect, we don't feel good. And there's a process to everything. And understand we don't start perfect. We all start as disasters, and disasters become masters the more energy that we put towards something. So again, the self-critical is means that you haven't found your process, or you're judging yourself about some area in your life. That's going to draw to you automatically someone that's like of a lower vibration. If you're self-critical and you're saying like I'm not good, or I'm not pretty, or I don't have, and you're focusing on the lack or a distorted perception of limitation about yourself, then understand you are going to draw to you someone that again is going to be self-critical to you. You're also going to draw to you someone that might not see your gifts, not might not appreciate your gifts, or not know how to praise you. So we have to watch out for this energy automatically, because it's not just the word. The word is self-critical, but how does that play out? How do you manifest that? Okay, I'm self-critical, I'm beating myself up and I'm stressing myself out, because if I'm stressed, I'm not able to learn. I'm not figuring out my process. Your mind can't be in two places at one time. So if you're self-critical, you're not, again, figuring out your process. So again, self-critical means that something's supposed to look a certain way, and it also tends to mean that we have an expectation of something. And again, if it doesn't match exactly what our perception is of what we believe it should look like or what we should look like, then we're going to beat ourselves up. But then that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is that we then attract people that do that to us and they don't see our worth. Okay, release attentive and repressive nature. So again, like if you were taught to always repress who you are, again, like as a highly sensitive person, we tend to think a lot. We have deep feelings and emotions. And people from a very young age, I know that I was called overly sensitive. So you may be someone that was judged due to, a certain character trait that you might have, whether it's sensitivity or something else, and where you were taught to repress that about yourself. So understand repressed energy becomes the shadow parts of self, which actually is why we're self-critical. So it's about really diving deep into your like the shadow aspect of yourself, to be able to say, well, what am I like repressing? Because understand repressed nature, suppressed energy is energy that we know that we're suppressing, right? I'll suppress it through maybe smoking or drinking or going out with friends or getting my mind. I know that there's a problem, but I refuse to think about it. After a while, when we do that, energy becomes repressed. And then it is stored in our tissue. It's stored within our cellular memory. And so understand healing is all about seeing a different aspect of yourself and then reconditioning a behaviorism. And so at this point, this is talking about like where someone has lived, where they again has such a limited perception about themselves for so long that they've been beating themselves up, and that energy is repressed, so they might be doing addictions. Now mind you, Virgo, this might not be you, this might be the person that you're connected to, but it's again, if you're connected to someone that is suppressing their feelings and their emotions because they just don't know how to deal with their situation, understand that they're not going to be emotionally available. They're not going to emotionally be able to they're not mature enough. So you may be like expecting someone to treat you a certain way because you say, well, I mean, I know this person loves me, but then this is the way they act. But you're expecting someone to love you that doesn't love themselves because they're self-critical, because they've been taught to repress their true nature and not really be able to live their truth. And that's a karmic walk. So you might be attached to someone that you're like, I feel like they're controlled by their mother, their father, their ex. It's again, and the reason why is because there's guilt there. And there is guilt because, not really because of that situation, but a lot of times a situation that occurred in childhood. So again, we always look at the spiritual issue first. And I do that because, again, if someone's not treating us nicely, we have a tendency to take things personally. If we can look at things from a spiritual perspective, we do not take on that energy. We do not own that energy. We, again, like I say, that belongs to that person because of that person's issue. And there is a sense because if you're with somebody for long periods of time that you love and you're giving energy and you know this person loves you, but they're repeatedly, their actions are not showing it, then you will begin to have, again, side effects. And those side effects are you become paranoid, you believe that no one's really there for you. Again, it creates anxiety. It creates, again, unnecessary um, behaviorisms within you that tend to replay the same type of karmic themes that you grew up in. So if you had parents that weren't there for you emotionally because something happened, now you're with somebody that has the same thing. It's again where they are detaching from their life. They don't know how to handle their life. So they suppress their emotions. So it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings for you. It means that they are caught up in another area of their life. So a lot of times it may be a third party, but a lot of times it's also not a third party with these people. These people, so again, you maybe again, it may be you, Virgo, but I Virgos that tend to be leaders, and unless they grew up in an abusive household or lived in an abusive environment, they wouldn't set boundaries. This is about that you're connected to somebody, Virgo. This is what I believe. Again, take it as it resonates. That you're connected to someone that doesn't know how to set boundaries, like actually gave up their life, like almost as a martyr. And it's because they're mainly afraid to set the appropriate boundaries, whether that's with an ex-wife, whether that's with a boss, whether that's, it's what I was saying was it doesn't matter if it's an intimate relationship. What I'm saying is that it's this person that you're connected to, again, has like almost forfeited their life, and you're expecting them. There's a sense that you're connected and you want to know where this person is, why this person isn't coming through for you. They're not even coming through for themselves. That's the spiritual underlining energy that helps, again, us to see that the person is not intentionally saying, I want to be petty and ignore Virgo. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is because, again, sometimes people gaslight. Sometimes people have other options. Sometimes people, this is not that. This person is going through something that where that now they're like beating themselves up completely. They're really self-critical. There's a part of them that doesn't feel that they're even good enough for you, Virgo, because of, again, their past behaviors and probably people that they've dated that have told them that. Because if this person, again, represses who they are, that means that they kind of become a chameleon in every different relationship. Like they can morph into whoever the person that they're dating Not is, but it obviously like has the same traits. Like if the person that they're dating is into tennis and into comedy and likes to eat spaghetti and meatballs every Friday, they are doing the same thing. They meld to the person's life. And it's because they don't really have an identity. And that's the problem when people are self-critical about themselves, they're judging themselves about like who they are and what they should be because they weren't allowed a process somewhere in their childhood. And so that's going to play out within a person's relationship. This is why it's important to look at the spiritual reason why certain things happen. Because if we don't, we're going to take it personally. We're also understand if a person is in this, it wouldn't really be wise of you to try and come in there on a rescue mission because this person needs to do healing. They need to do healing because, again, if they've been letting people manipulate their life for a long time, they have anger, they have repressed anger, they have repressed a lot of repressed emotions that they're not even aware of. It's again because when we go through experiences that create a lot of different emotion, especially if you're kind of attached to somebody, and attached doesn't necessarily mean love. We can be codependent on people that we don't even like anymore. Again, so that we grew out of that person, but that person still feels familiar. And the reason why is because we haven't created enough of a life of ourselves, which is a reason why we're self-critical. So the person actually needs to get a life, but they need to do healing too, because as they venture into their new life, you don't want them to looking at their life through distorted perceptions of who they are and what the world is, because they're going to just repeat the same types of experiences, which is why the person, every time they get into a new relationship, they just mold to that person because they don't have an identity. So it's again, you may have thought, and this is what I'm feeling, Virgo, that this person like had their shit together because they have a great job, they can make money, they again look like they can, but they have deep-seated wounds. So I want to look at the triggers between you and this person. I want to look at some of the hidden truths. I want to look at the situation actually of how it played out. But I'm just going to pull two cards for you and two cards for your person to see what the triggers are. Now, even though I say two for you and two for your person, sometimes it comes out reversed. You'll notice, no, that's not me. It's again, take it as it resonates. The messages are, again, a lot of times we have the same wounds as our partner, too. So you're in a soulmate twin flame relationship, there's soul wounds. Understand you're going to get triggered. There's going to be triggers there. It's again, these relationships, I say in every video, these relationships are designed to draw out your wounds. Again, it's doing like internal healing work. Why? Because you're getting a person that you love unconditionally, that mirrors out a lot of your wounds. And they do so by triggering you. And there are behaviors attached to those triggers. We want to look at those. We want to see what they are. We want to see how they play out. It's really important because, like I said, a lot of times people have so much, again, emotional energy from trauma that that trigger comes out like a real forceful punch. So people, they're not mindful of how they speak to each other. They're not mindful of the words that they choose. And they let their emotion take over. And that can happen with these type of relationships, okay, where you're attached to someone that needs a lot of healing. It's so you have to ask yourself, do you want to really be in a relationship where a person needs a lot of healing? Because, understand it's like a job. And your mind can't be in two places at one time. You have to be able to create and to create your life. Otherwise, if you aren't creating your life, there's a sense of abandonment abandonment of self. And if you abandon yourself, then the person that you are holding on to is only going to abandon you, because again, why they fell in love with you and why they like is the person that they met. And if you become their savior, they do not respect it anymore. So let's look at the triggers. Okay, passion. I feel our passion is gone and many things frustrate me about you. So Virgo, I think that this is kind of like where you are, but I actually feel like your person can feel this too, because it's again, it's mirroring energy. So I feel like you're like, I don't like how you treat me. I don't like how you're not really taking responsibility of your life, some of the choices that you've made, how you treat me, just all of it. And it disgusts me. And that's what there's a fine line between love and hate. But I also believe that this type of emotion is not a lasting emotion. Again, when we are dealing with the soulmate twin flames, we have many different feelings and emotions. One second we feel this way, we hate the person. The next second we care about that person. And the whole thing is hard to detach from a situation that you have such strong emotions and a strong soul tie connection. So there's passion. So there's a lot of fire in this relationship, and there is in every soulmate twin flame relationship, because that fire is designed to transmute your soul wounds, right? It's again, otherwise we can't transmute them. And you can't just get rid of a wound. You have to again turn the energy into something positive. That's the law of attraction, the law of the universe. It's a law. Literally, it's a scientific law. Like it's again that it has something has to hold space for it. The mind will not get rid of anything, even if it's um, a thought of being defective, or a thought of, not having, a thought of being being in a place of lack, even though that's bad for us to think that we're in a place of lack. I mean, it's actually detrimental, but our mind says it's better than nothing, because nothing is dead if there's no space there. So it has to be transmuted, and passion is the fire energy that does so. But when a person isn't standing up for themselves, they're obviously not showing up for you. So it affects intimacy, it affects trust, because trust affects intimacy. So I believe that you're there, and I believe because you're not caving in and this person likes things easy, there's a sense of that they're a little bit mad. It's again, but they're not going to stay in that place of, I feel our passion is gone and many things about you frustrate me about you. But I think it's again, you're holding them accountable. So they're going to, the whole point of why you're getting a soulmate twin flame is that they can't control unconditional love. You're dealing with someone that has deep seated wounds. They don't want to heal them. No one wants to heal. No one volunteers to heal. It's painful. We have to look at ourselves. We have to take accountability of why we feel shameful, why we feel that victimized. How do we play the role in that? Things didn't just happen. They happened due to how we participated, what we allowed. So it's again, there's a deep seated wound, and we have to revisit relationships. Again, man, this person, I believe, went from relationship to relationship, never really looked at anything. So this person is looking at all their failed relationships, which is why they're being self-critical. But you only look at things from one perception, of course you're going to be self-critical. So, and that affects passion, because obviously you're not in a good mood. So then, and then substances, which I said before, it was like substances, like, so after a while, when a person doesn't feel good, what they do is they suppress their emotions through addictions, through habits. But what it was saying is trauma manifests within our behaviorisms. Well, what's one behaviorism is substances, because we're using it as a form of escapism. So you're attached to somebody that again tends to abandon their situations, instead of dealing with the situation, they'd rather stick their head in the sand, make it just go away, have other people come in and fix it for them. And in this, they don't own their life. And this is why, and so then of course they're self-critical because they're not really creating their life. Because if you're in some doing substances and your mind again is not on the things that you have to take care of, it might be on it partially, but not all the way, and other people are cleaning up your mess. But it's a form of escapism. And it all starts with, again, self-critical, but why? Like as we go deeper, it's like we see that there's a gigantic wound. It might look like a tiny little scab on top, but if that scab was come off, we would see a big hole, and it'd be deeper and deeper and deeper, like with all like pus and junk in there, like because that's that like this person's healing. It's like they've masked who they are, which again, why I said they're able to be a chameleon. And this is what happens when a person feels bad about themselves, and when they're taught to suppress parts of themselves, when they're taught in childhood to reject parts of themselves, there's detachment then. Not taught to like dislike parts of ourselves. So I believe that again that this is what's happening now. And the person's passion also is going to be affected too if they're doing drugs and stuff. That's again because it's almost like I feel like whatever drug they're doing is amplifying their emotion as well. So they might have bursts of like feeling really, really angry and then just not caring. Okay, 2 for you. Assumptions. I felt attacked by the constant need to assume what I was doing or saying. I had my limits. So it's again like I believe that your person doesn't make you feel safe, always makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. And partially because they don't communicate. So they do this thing where I feel like they want you to like coddle them, and where they don't give you anything emotionally back, which goes hand in hand with people that again have substance abuse. They again usually are emotionally detached from themselves. So you're dealing with someone that's emotionally detached, and they can because they do substances, and that's they're not interactive in life. So it doesn't mean that they don't love you, but they're almost like departmentalizing you, which is again which would be a problem, where you can't be in a relationship where you're like always having to assume, like make assumptions. It's again because then you're going to become paranoid. That's what happens. Then you look for things to happen. And so understand we unconsciously condition ourselves. So you're going to say, well, how does a trauma bond play out? Well, a trauma bond plays out like this. You grew up in an environment where maybe you emotionally didn't get what you needed. Didn't mean that your parents didn't love you, but again, from the shadow aspects of self, you didn't get what you needed. So then it plays out. It plays out within your relationship. So again, all because this person doesn't feel good about themselves. And that's what's really bad. Again, the assumptions about, because then again it makes us paranoid. And then the other one is judge. I felt my thoughts, feelings, and emotions were being judged by you. And of course they were, because a person that, again, has substance abuse and, again, doesn't show up emotionally, they're going to question every little thing that you do. It's a way to take the focus off what they're doing. So it's, again, with soulmate twin flame relationships that are not healed, again, people that have trauma bond relationships, this is a very common theme. It's where it's again part of the person needs to realize that they can trust themselves, that they need to trust themselves, and that a person can love them and still act like this, because to understand only God's love is perfect. So if we look at the situation from a spiritual perspective, it can tend to help us deal with healing this type of relationship, or how we view ourselves, because we don't want this to continue to play out. But becoming aware of telltale signs, like if a person is always beating themselves up and always like, you know, you can see, and again, how they, abandon themselves through substance abuse, and then they would judge you. Because again, that a lot of times played out in people's childhoods, and then they get in the same type of situations, and that's family karma, inherited family karma. Okay, out of tune. In your own world, rebel without a cause. You don't have to be alone. So, like again, your person feels like they're out of tune. Like they don't feel as if. And I feel like you being in this connection with this person makes you feel again not in tune because they're off. And then there's a sense where I feel like as many people that care about someone and have a soulmate twin flame type of connection, they do tap in. They do tap into their person, and they say, oh, I'm gonna help them. And they can't help it because again, that ESP connections through the mind and heart. So they're giving their energy to that person, but that person's off, so it makes you off. So it makes you off not just within yourself, but makes you feel off within your environment. And then the other wound is influence. So being given bad advice, following the crowd, don't give in to temptation. And I believe that's all about the person that you're tapped into, that they're not able to think for themselves, that they're not living their own life. So, and they're influenced. And a lot of times people influence people for what's best for them, not what's best for you, what's best for them. And so if a person hasn't explored enough in life and gone out a lot in life and found who they are, their discernment is off. Understand, because they're only going to know what's in their environment, and they're going to only trust a certain few. And then what happens is when we give those certain few all our energy, all our trust, they have so much power over us. That's what happened with your person. So they're actually looking at their life right now, again, dealing with their issues. So if you're not feeling them, this is why, but this is also why they wouldn't let you get close to them. Because if you got close to them, you would see that other people were kind of like puppeteering your person. So, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like another relationship. This could be an ex. This could be, again, a boss, a mother, an in-law, but there's an outside influence that is influencing your person, and to kind of stifle the things that they want. Now, I'm just going to look at the hidden truth between, what your person is thinking. Oh, look at this. I want you was crossed over, but a lot of them were. So we're going to turn them over and not pretend that we didn't see that. All right, we're going to look at it. We're going to see what are the hidden truths. What are the hidden truths that your person would like to tell you? I'm going to pull 2 cards. What are the hidden truths? Okay. I replay our conversations over and over. So again, you got underneath this person's skin. You could be the catalyst for why this person changed. Okay, let's see. And then we will be together again. So this person holds it in their mind that you guys will be together again. I don't know why. Again, sometimes soulmate twin flames, how they know they're supposed to be together is the same way that they know that, that we're going to be together. It's like, I don't know how I know, I just know. And so, and that's again, that love transcends time and space. It's like how you know that you met a person before. It's crazy. So let's see what other messages that they have for you before I close out. I'm sorry. One more message. One more message. One more message. Okay. My childhood was difficult and it still affects me. I was let down by people I loved. And that's what I was saying about how if a person has gone through trauma in childhood and then they haven't ventured enough in life away from their family, they tend to overly trust these people. And I'm not saying, oh, it's like not that people tend to have everyone's sense of what people need is different. It's important for us to establish what we need for our own life. Your person that you're connected to, Virgo, is like didn't do this. Again, maybe they went through an experience young that was traumatizing to them. And because it was, parents overgave, overcoddled, they were taught like relationships weren't safe, people weren't safe. There's a million reasons why, but your person relies too much on outside resources. Like, and I'm really feeling like a mother figure. Again, people that they overly trusted that are using their energy now against them, and they almost like don't know how to escape that. And that's why they're self critical. The person is self critical because they were around people that beat them down. And that's part of the reason why they judged you the way that they did. So the issue is, even though you have this connection with them, if you're going to be around them, my fear is that you would always feel off because this person's off. So if you're going to deal with this person, you're going to, and we know if it's a soulmate twin flame that we just kind of have to, then you're going to have to learn the art of balance, boundaries, again, and having a lot of other things in your life that can raise your vibration at the same time. Because it's, again, a lot of times it's, we can't control. That's the whole thing with love. You can't control it. Eventually we cave, eventually something happens. But if we're smart about dealing with it, because we can say, well, this person has spiritual wounds that are deep and they haven't learned how to set appropriate boundaries. So no, every person that you, every time you're going to deal with this person, if somebody in their family or someone before you comes into their life and says, oh, this needs to happen, they're going to drop what's going on with you. You need to go in and deal with them with boundaries to be like, you can't do that. There needs to be consequences because they're so fearful of, again, doing the wrong because there was consequences. So you kind of have to give consequences too. And the consequences would be that you don't give to this person. You don't make them top shelf when they're, again, making you like LD. Like, let's face it, like you can't bargain basement. Like you can't, meaning that they can only give when they can give. You're not going in there on a rescue mission. You're not. But what I will tell you is you are the catalyst for their change. You are the inspiration for their change because the person in their mind is saying, I don't know whether we will or not, but in my mind, I have to say we will be together because I replay the messages over and over in my mind. And because I do, I can see, I can feel your love. I hold on to that. That's what's going to get me out of this. Now, whether it works out with you or not is a whole other bag of chips. But this is what this person is holding on to in order to get themselves out of their situation. I just want to pull one more message, which is twin flame. Okay. So this would be a twin flame relationship. The person has, there's problems. Now you need to ask yourself, do you have any issues? Do you have a tendency to, abandon yourself or use substances? Or again, twin flames tend to be mirrors. Again, they play out, a lot of times our wounding does play out differently though. But understand twin flame relationship, that fire, that passion, again, is made to transmute that wounding. And one more, karmic ties. My heart is with another right now. I have to finish this karmic contract in order to be free. But I don't really believe that they're with anybody. What I believe is I believe that they are, again, attached to someone like family, or again, maybe an ex, but someone that is not a love thing. It's that someone else is in control of their life. And that's why things are the way that they are. I feel like I don't deserve your love. I'm worried you'll leave me when you really see who I am. So again, maybe the reason why this person has procrastinated too is because of that, you know. I'm triggered, an old pattern has surfaced and it hurts. So it's again, you are the catalyst for this person's healing. That's what that is saying. It's like, but, and this person, like we know, is not with you, but they're holding on to the fact that they're going to be with you. That's why they replay the messages in their mind. But they, again, are finishing out a karmic contract, I believe, with, again, with an ex, but also maybe with family. Once they divorce or leave or end that relationship, they're going to walk into a brand new life, and they're going to be leaving behind not just that ex. I feel like a family, because there's a lot of things that are, a lot of people that are influencing this person. So I don't know. Let me know how you thought about this live stream, and if you have any comments for me, write them in the comment bar. But if you don't and you want to win your own personal psychic reading, just write the word healer in the comment bar. Give me a like, subscribe, and write the word healer in the comment bar, and you can win a psychic reading. Now, if you've already done that, by the way, go back to the page that you, again, wrote your comment, and then look underneath it. See whether I wrote winner. If I did, reach out to me through email at pureenergyhealer70@gmail.com and let me know whether or not, you would like your reading, and when, where, what times work for you. Okay, guys. Until next time, be true to you. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Bye.